The Wicks here on this beautiful Tuesday, May 17th, 2022, and welcome to the show, whether that's on Facebook or on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, do me a favor, hit the like and the share. If you are on YouTube, hit the subscribe. It'd be much, much appreciated. So we have not been on YouTube for about the past week, and actually yesterday as well, okay? So funny thing, right? Go on to upgrade the Prime subscription to make sure we are here on two different platforms to kind of seek, the different type of audiences. One being Facebook, which is the bigger audience. YouTube, which we're trying to grow. We're trying to get to be a main YouTube show. Eventually in the near future, we'll be switching from Facebook strictly to YouTube, where Facebook will be just kind of a business platform, but that is it down the road in the near future. Who knows when that will actually happen. But, bought the Prime subscription, got it all figured out. My dumbass couldn't, I was getting pissed because it wasn't letting me go multi-stream. So I was like, well, what the fuck are we going to do? Did some tweaking here and there, deleted the app, got the app back. Well, fucking everything was gone. Had to kind of configure this whole different settings, and hopefully it looks good on your side. On my side, it looks pretty decent. I mean, it looks clear and all that stuff. So we got it figured out. Took us a little bit. We'll probably dive into it a little bit more to see what else we can change, what else we can fix. Once I get a new laptop, the show will be even better than it already is, okay? Because let's be honest, one of the best sports shows out there, okay? No, don't mean to toot my own horn. I know everything. I know the ins and outs, the trades, the free agents. I know what we're going to be talking about today, especially. A lot has been kind of, taken off in the world of the National Football League, like ESPN finally going to include flex scheduling. What does that mean for not only us as fans, but the teams as well? We'll dive into that to start the show in just a few moments. The Indianapolis Colts are signing a veteran running back, that being Phillip Lindsay. I think it's a good move, and I'll tell you why in just a few moments. Also, free agent running back Tarik Cohen had an unfortunate setback today when he went live on his Instagram. And he might have suffered a serious injury, and you could tell it was not a good injury right from the get-go. We'll dive into that briefly and what it means for his potential NFL comeback and NFL future. Also, we have more on the Deshaun Watson situation, where obviously he dealt with the criminal cases. Those ended up not getting indicted by the grand jury. And now all that is left to be kind of settled is those civil cases. They are moving in swift fashion, trying to get through those as quickly as possible. But it might also get pushed down the line. So we have that to talk about, and as well as the XFL, in which is kind of taking a little hiatus after, COVID decided to come knocking on the door and saying, hey, sorry about it, we're not going to be playing football no more. XFL kind of had a shortened season due to that. They are not playing this entire season, but they will be back in 2023, and we'll talk about that briefly and what is going to be happening, who are going to be their broadcasting partners, and all that type of fun stuff. So with that being said, are you ready to get your fix? So ESPN finally made the smart decision in allowing flex scheduling to happen. What flex scheduling basically means is, if there's a game on primetime football that was once before the season even started supposed to be an absolute classic, a game that anyone would want to go out and watch and see and really indulge themselves in for the next 3.5 hours on those primetime games. Those primetime games obviously being Thursday Night Football, Sunday Night Football, and Monday Night Football. So when you get to those games, maybe it's the the Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the New York Jets. They're both 0-10 at this point or something. It's just not a high marquee game. Nobody wants to sit down on Monday Night Football and watch that game. Okay? It is what it is, right? You don't want to see two losers go at it head-to-head on a primetime game. So what flex scheduling does is they're able to take another game from, say, a Sunday slated game and move it to that Monday night slot so that we can actually go and watch a high caliber matchup, right? Maybe it's the Chiefs versus the Bills. Maybe it's the, Green Bay Packers taking on the Dallas Cowboys. Whatever the case may be, we want those high marquee games to go watch during prime time. We don't want the Lions taking on the Houston Texans. Just not what people want to watch, especially being a night game when they can go out and watch whatever hell else they want to watch, like the news or stuff like that. So flex scheduling kind of helps us out as fans. It helps the teams out as well because they get more viewership, aka more revenue with that happening. So ESPN, as reported by Adam Schefter on Twitter, says, starting in 2023, ESPN's Monday Night Football finally will include flex scheduling from weeks 14 through 18 and will also feature 3 Monday Night Football doubleheaders per the NFL's Vice President of Broadcast Scheduling, Mike North. So this will not include this season, unfortunately. It is what it is, okay? Off-season has already happened. We're now into rookie mini camps. OTAs will be coming up, and then training camp, preseason, the regular season. They're not going to change too much this year, but for next year, flex scheduling will become a thing for the last couple weeks, because we all know the last couple weeks are for, teams might have a chance to make it into the playoffs. Teams might have a chance to win their division, and if they're not in a prime time slot, but we all think, hey, they probably should be, now ESPN is allowing that to happen. So, for instance, Vikes take on the Packers, okay? It's week 17 or something like that. Whoever wins this game wins the division. Well, ESPN can be like, hey, let's take that game and move it to Monday Night Football. Okay, let's flip-flop because we got the Texans taking on, the Jaguars. It's just not a really good matchup that we want to see on Monday Night Football, but we would love to see a Vikes-Packs for the division title, okay, on Monday night. So that'll give them the opportunity to kind of flip-flop, and what that does for us fans, obviously, I think it makes us more intrigued to actually turn on that football game on Monday Night Football, even though, okay, myself, it's my job, watch every single fucking game, or at least most of them, as many as possible, actually. I mean, I'll have fucking 3 different kind of TVs set up and laptops set up so I can kind of watch every game as they're happening and kind of get glimpses of these big plays and stuff like that. But that helps out fans, right? That helps out teams. It helps us just kind of know that the NFL understands we want, or whatever is in the best interest of the fans. The NFL is finally saying, okay, let's allow that. And I don't think not only NFL is allowing that, ESPN's allowing that, and I'm sure other broadcasting programs like the NBC, CBS, Fox, they'll all kind of do the same different things so that we can kind of see these higher caliber games, these high marquee games when they matter most. And I'm pumped for it. They needed to do this quite a while ago. They've been able to flex games the last couple of years because of the COVID situation. But now this year they're not going to include flex scheduling. The schedule is set in stone. Suck it up, Buttercup. Basically, you're going to get what you're going to get, and you're not going to throw a fit, all right? If we have a fucking, Lions-Texans game on Monday night, you're going to have to watch a Lions-Texans game on Monday night. But next year, kind of takes that, shitty game out of there and replaces it with an even better game. So I'm pumped for it. I think they did an exceptional job of actually doing so and giving the fans what we've always wanted, the best game possible for a primetime game. So good job for ESPN, good job for the NFL, and I think this is going to be exceptionally successful in the coming seasons. Moving forward, the Indianapolis Colts have decided to add a little piece to their offense, a weapon to their offense. You may know him, you may not. Hasn't really made too much noise the past couple of seasons. The Colts are signing running back Phillip Lindsay to a 1-year deal. I'm unsure at the time of the details of the 1-year contract. I'm sure it's just only a couple $1 million, maybe like $5 million, $6 million, whatever the case may be, with incentives to be earned if he makes a Pro Bowl, gets so many yards. You get it, okay? Last season, Phillip Lindsay was with the Houston Texans and the Miami Dolphins. He started right off the bat with the Texans, ended up getting traded to the Miami Dolphins, in which I believe was probably the best case scenario for him, because the Houston Texans, we all know, are not the greatest team in the world, okay? They're just not that great. Miami Dolphins, they're not the greatest thing in the world to watch, but we know the past 2 seasons that they've, went on some winning stretches. Last season, I believe they won 8 of their last 9 ball games. Okay, so they pick it up when it matters most. They get going on all cylinders. Phillip Lindsay was in a pretty decent spot, and this year he finds an even better spot, taking the backup role to Jonathan Taylor with the Indianapolis Colts. Now, last year, splitting between the Houston Texans and the Miami Dolphins, Phillip Lindsay, 14 total games, started in one of those games. Obviously, Houston had David Johnson. Miami, Myles Gaskin. I believe Phillip maybe had a little injury there that kind of set him back and whatnot. But in those games, he had 249 rushing yards. He had a touchdown, 4 catches also for 45 yards, plus another touchdown. So not the greatest season by any means. But if you look at what he's been able to do in the past, his first 2 seasons, he had 1,000 yards rushing each year, 1,000 plus, I should say. Made the Pro Bowl his very first year, his rookie season. This guy was supposed to be the next big thing. Didn't quite happen the way we all seemed, or we all seen it kind of play out. He was with the Denver Broncos, and since then he's kind of trickled down. I believe it all stemmed from an injury that he suffered after his second year. But look, the Colts are getting a veteran. They're getting a decent running back. And for a backup running back, you don't need a stellar, superstar. You just need a guy that can go out there and run exceptionally well, catch the ball exceptionally well, and put your team in the best position to score the football, okay? AKA, it's 3rd down or something like that. Let's get a quick first down or make it 1st and goal or whatever the case may be. Let's shove Jonathan Taylor in there and let's see if he can get a touchdown. Or when Jonathan Taylor's, the Madden games when they're sitting in the backfield and they're just, you can tell they're out of breath, okay? That's when Phillip Lindsay can be, hey, coach, put me in. Run in there and take over the snap real quick to give Jonathan Taylor a quick breather. Make sure Jonathan Taylor takes a quick drink of water so that he's able to come on the field and do what he did all last season, and that was absolutely make defenses look completely silly out there, scoring a lot of touchdowns, running for a massive amount of yards. So I think the Colts did a very, very good job in signing Phillip Lindsay. He's going to be a nice backup over there, especially when they lost Marlon Mack and stuff like that. Nyheim Hines, I believe, is still over there with the Colts organization, so a little battle going to be happening. But I think they're in good hands. The wide receiver position, right? That is the one position the Colts need to upgrade, in my opinion. They do have Michael Pittman Jr., but they do not have T.Y. Hilton, excuse me. Now, last year, T.Y. Hilton did not have a great season, but he was a game changer. I think it made defense realize that, hey, we still need to cover him, because if we don't, he can make us look silly. So they covered him pretty well, the entire season, because T.Y. Hilton did not do good. But he's gone. Zach Pascal's gone. Basically stuck with fucking Michael Pittman Jr. They need another guy. And there's multiple free agents still on the market. Now, Jarvis Landry not being one of them, as he signed with the New Orleans Saints just a week ago. But Odell Beckham Jr. is still on the market. Where does he go? He's been linked to the New England Patriots. Not so much the Indianapolis Colts, but I think the Colts would be a fun selection for him as well. I just don't see that happening. I think Odell needs to stay with a high-market team. High-market team being like a New York Giants, like he was when he started his career, right? I'm not saying they need him. I'm just saying, like, as an example, New York City, you have a lot of chances to get, marketing jobs, commercials, whatever the case may be. You're a superstar. Then he goes over to Cleveland, kind of dies down a little bit. He's not having the greatest season at all. It's cold as shit. He's not having fun. And then he finds a way to leave and go over to Los Angeles, and we've seen exactly how that played out, In a blink of an eye, had as many touchdowns as he did with the Cleveland Browns, was on track to be the Super Bowl MVP before he tore his ACL. And when he did tear his ACL, they went back, reconstructed it, and figured out that the Cleveland Browns, their doctor, actually fucked up the first time OBJ had his ACL surgery. So they fixed both his ACL tears that he once had, and he's back and ready to rumble. He's a free agent, probably going to be pretty expensive. But ultimately, in the end, I believe we're going to see Odell Beckham Jr. maybe step back with the Los Angeles Rams, even though it seems like it might be a stretch because the Rams have Cooper Kupp, okay, Van Jefferson, and they did end up signing Allen Robinson this offseason. But I think you don't leave the doors closed on an Indianapolis Colts. You know, I just don't think you do that. So the Colts, I think you got to look out for signing OBJ, but I also think a better fit would be the guy that Matt Ryan played many, many years with down in Atlanta. A guy that was a stud, still could be that stud, just can never score touchdowns. He's more of a yardage type of guy. I've said it multiple times. Look, he's going to move the ball downfield. He's just not going to punch it in the end zone. But that's where you got, with the Colts organization, you have a Jonathan Taylor that can punch it in the end zone. Okay, you got a Mo Alley Cox, a tight end, who can punch it in the end zone. You got another wide receiver, Michael Pittman Jr., who could potentially punch it in the end zone. But this guy, I think the Colts need to go out and make a strong, strong push for, that being wide receiver Julio Jones. Okay? You sign Julio Jones, the chemistry with Matt Ryan and Julio Jones is already there. That doesn't need to be created at all. The only thing that needs to happen is Julio needs to learn the playbook, okay? Should be pretty simple, okay? New verbiage and stuff is going to be a little tough to kind of figure out, but I think Julio is a veteran in this league. He's a leader in this league. He knows what it takes to learn that verbiage and learn how to, do all these plays and learn the playbook at a quick pace and a rapid pace and go out there and step on the field week one and look, like he was there the entire time. Okay? They need to make a push for Julio Jones. This would ultimately make their team that much better. I think they could actually have a chance to make a Super Bowl run at that point. It'd be tough. It'd be far-fetched, especially that since we haven't even started the season. Injuries really haven't happened at this point. But I think it's a very real possibility if they sign Julio Jones, and now Michael Pittman Jr. is probably going to be the number one. Then you have Julio being your number two. Really don't have to worry about all the other nonsense of, oh, this guy stinks. Okay, we can only throw to Michael Pittman Jr. and sometimes to Mo Alley Cox or Jack Doyle or whatever the case may be, and basically hand the ball off every fucking play to Jonathan Taylor, because now we have a weapon. Now we have another weapon. We have two legit wide receivers. We have a tight end. We have two of them, actually, that are pretty solid. And now we have two running backs, like a Phillip Lindsay, a Jonathan Taylor, and a Nyheim Hines. So the Colts did a good job, I think, in adding the depth to that running back room, especially with the injuries that we've seen happen in the past couple of years, like the Baltimore Ravens last year, losing Justice Hill, Gus Edwards, and J.K. Dobbins in a span of a week. I mean, that was just absolutely mind-boggling, okay? If I'm a GM, if I'm a coach, and I see that happen, I don't know, man. I'd probably sit in my office and cry, okay? Because that would just be, that'd be terrible. They figured it out, okay? They did not make the playoffs, but they still had an exceptionally good season, especially when they have Lamar Jackson. That's going to happen. But the Colts end up signing Phillip Lindsay to a 1-year contract. Another running back that was poised for an NFL return. Okay, free agent running back Tarik Cohen tore his ACL in the 2020 season. Didn't play all last year because he was rehabbing and getting it straight. Well, it finally healed. He's ready to rock and roll. He's been working out. He's been doing his thing. And today, of all days, he decides, you know what? Let's go live. Let's go live on Instagram. Huh? Let's show them what I've been cooking up. Let's show my footwork. Let's show these scouts that I still got what it takes. Didn't take long. Doing some hurdle drills, whatever the ladder, whatever you want to call it. Quick little feet, quick little steps, and he's backpedaling, and as soon as he plants to go forward, he instantly drops, grabs his ankle, and looks at one of his trainers or one of his buddies and goes, oh shit, this can't be good. Oh no. and you knew, not only myself, everybody that has seen that video knows for a fact that he tore his Achilles. Such a bummer. Such a sad moment, especially being live in front of thousands of people that are watching, and that happens. Because that video is going to be there for quite some time. Your face expression is going to be there for quite some time, but that injury is such a setback. Because we've seen people come back from Achilles injuries. It takes a lot longer than we all expect. Klay Thompson took forever. Okay, NBA superstar, shooting guard for the Golden State Warriors. Richard Sherman did it, right? Tore his ACL with the San Francisco tore his Achilles with the San Francisco 49ers. Rehabbed it, didn't think he could come back. He did, okay? But then he had some hamstring issues after that, and his career has kind of dwindled down since then. Still one of the best corners that has ever played in the National Football League, but it was a setback. And this is a setback, massive setback, actually, for Tarik Cohen. Tore his ACL just a couple of years ago, rehabbed it as much as he possibly could, and during that rehab process, towards the end of that rehab process, trying to get back onto an NFL roster, tears his Achilles, and it is not good. And Jonathan Jones on Twitter actually reported, free agent running back Tarik Cohen appears to have suffered a serious lower leg injury during a workout streaming on IG Live. He's been training for his comeback from a serious knee injury he suffered in the 2022 NFL season. And it's a bummer. That's just a huge bummer. We don't like to see injuries. We wish that it wasn't a part of the game, but it's football. Okay, you're going to get injured whenever the injured God comes down and says, hey, it's your time, okay, sorry about it. Takes your knee out or takes your Achilles out or breaks your arm or whatever the case may be. It's a massive setback. Because Tarik Cohen, in my opinion, not a great running back. A decent running back. Okay, he's a running back that can come in there and take over the number 2 role, maybe the number 3 role if you need, special teams, wildcat, whatever you need out of Tarik, he can come and do. He's a fast little guy. Okay, well, not little because he's bigger than me, but he's fast. Very, very quick. And he's most regarded or most known as, I believe, a receiving back. When I went and looked at his stats, his rushing stats didn't jump out of the picture at me. Okay, they didn't go boom. No. Those are the receiving stats. The receiving stats, like 400, high 400 yards every season that he was able to do so. A couple touchdowns, more touchdowns than he had rushing. This dude is a receiving back, and I think a lot of teams, especially nowadays, could use that. Because the NFL is moving towards a passing type of league. The running backs used to be the most highly regarded position. Or like, if you don't have a good running back, you're not going to win. You're not going to win because it was mostly, we got Adrian Peterson just punching it down everybody's throat. Barry Sanders, Eric Dickerson, all these high caliber running backs. Chris Johnson, Brian Westbrook. I mean, the names go on and on and on for these running backs that were superstars. But the game's starting to shift to that wide receiver role. Right, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that OBJ pulled off that miraculous one-handed fucking catch, and now everybody wants to be a wide receiver, and now everyone wants to, be a quarterback as well, and throw the ball. Quarterbacks don't want to sit there and hand the ball off every fucking time. It's just not what they want to do, okay? They want to showcase their arm. They want to show you that they have a cannon, okay? That they have what it takes to be a Tom Brady, a Peyton Manning, one of those high-caliber quarterbacks. They want to throw the ball. They want to put the ball in tight windows, be the most accurate passer, throw the most passing touchdowns in NFL history, have the most passing yards in NFL history. That's what they want to do. The game is moving towards a receiving type of game. And I think nowadays we're also seeing where running backs or teams are getting a 1-2 punch at running back. A 1-2 punch being we have a running back and we have a receiving back. Some teams actually have both. Like the Cleveland Browns. Nick Chubb can do it both. Kareem Hunt can do it both. Okay, Nick Chubb, going to be more of the running back going to have more of the running back role. Kareem Hunt, going to have more of that receiving back role. Okay, he's going to go out there, he's going to roll out, he's going to take a quick little halfback screen, but he can also run the ball exceptionally well at the same time. So it's a bummer that this actually happened to Tarik Cohen, but T's and P's to him. I'm sure he'll come back better than ever. It's gonna take some time. I hope it's sooner rather than later, and I hope his career gets right back on track, because it's just a bummer, right? Because everyone dreams, or these kids when they start football at such a young age, their dream is to play football for the rest of their life, to take a step on an NFL field with an NFL team. And once you achieve that dream, it's now, okay, we got to get to the top. We got to get to that Lombardi. We have to make my name known. We have to get to a Hall of Fame. And Tarik, man, it's a bummer. Hopefully everything's fine. Hopefully it's just a little, sprain or something, but it did not look that way. It's just unfortunate that had to happen. Some other news also, Deshaun Watson, okay, right? We touched on this a little bit yesterday. The civil cases are starting to get figured out. It was actually reported, I believe, yesterday that NFL officials are currently scheduled to meet with the Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson in Texas this week, per league sources, and that basically meant they're going to be discussing the civil cases, when to start going about these. Maybe the NFL has already came to a conclusion of what they're going to do. They've seen enough. They have their evidence. Now it's just time to maybe tell Deshaun Watson if there's going to be a suspension or not. Well, we have more information surrounding that, and this is by Ed Werder, who is a correspondent or reporter for ESPN. He goes on Twitter and says, source, the first direct meetings between the NFL investigative team led by Lisa Friel and Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson have begun in Texas. They actually began Monday, so yesterday is when they started. They're still continuing to do so today, and it might leg into tomorrow. The league seeks to determine if he violated the NFL personal conduct policy, and if so, whether discipline should be imposed. So you look at this right off the bat. Basically, they're having a meeting with the NFL front office, their investigation team, and kind of sitting down and probably presenting to Deshaun Watson what they found and whether or not to discipline. That was basically the gist of that story. I'd assume he probably violated the NFL personal conduct policy, okay, just because there was criminal cases involved that he didn't end up getting indicted on, and now there's civil cases that are trying to get figured out. I'm assuming that happened, and now they're just got to figure out probably if a discipline should be imposed. And if there is a discipline imposed, what would be the best discipline, right? I don't think a whole year would be the best case scenario. Because obviously that would never be the best case scenario. The best case scenario would be no suspension for Deshaun Watson and for the Browns as a whole, because I don't know if Baker's going to go out there and play the best that he possibly can, or what the case may be with Jacoby Brissett and stuff like that. But I think if we're looking at a discipline, I think a suspension of 6 games would make the most sense, just because he sat out all last year. Okay, he didn't want to be with the Houston Texans no more. And he's kind of already served that discipline, but another 6 games would kind of be like, hey, buckle up, okay? If your team goes 0-6, that's on you, pal, okay? It's plain and simple. But the Deshaun Watson situation is getting figured out. I also read a report on Yahoo Sports that basically kind of said that, these civil cases could not end up getting figured out till like 2023. So is there really going to be a discipline? Or are we going to wait till next season, or maybe wait till the off season of next year again, which would suck, okay, because we got to bring this back up and talk about it. Let's get it fucking figured out, okay? He either did it or he didn't. Figure it out, okay? Give him a fucking discipline and let's move on with life, okay? I don't know what happened. I was not there. All I can do is give you guys my opinion, and hopefully he did not do the things that they are saying. But if he did, scumbag, okay? In my opinion, okay? But until then, hopefully the discipline and the situation gets figured out. And that is all I have for the Deshaun Watson situation at this point in time. It's slowly getting figured out. I just wish I could figure out what the hell's going on with Alvin Kamara, okay? He gets arrested after the fucking Pro Bowl. Haven't heard a peep. Haven't heard a lick of information of what the hell's happening there. Is he fine? Is he going to be locked up? What's going on? Still have yet to fucking figure it out. Wish people could get to the bottom of that, but what do I know, right? The NFL's kind of keeping that hush-hush, because he could be most likely Another case of the Ray Rice situation, okay? We all already know about the Ray Rice situation. Won't bring that up. But Alvin Kamara, his buddies, beat the absolute living shit out of some dude that just wanted to get on an elevator. Not sure if that's the full, outlook of the story or what actually happened, but that's what it seemed like because, they broke his orbital bone and other bones and stuff like that, caused internal bleeding or something like that. I don't know. They beat the shit out of him. Okay, Alvin Kamara probably going away for a little while, maybe not, who knows, I would like to know. Let's figure out that situation. But moving forward to our last little bit away from the National Football League, let's jump over to the XFL. This league is now being run by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson with other people as well. They've been on a hiatus, okay? They've been waiting to come back. They've been kind of figuring out who's going to be their broadcasting partners, how are we going to get this all situated, who's going to be the owner. We found out the owner, okay, let's figure all this other mumbo-jumbo out. Well, let's be honest, okay? I'm pumped for this one because the USFL, I don't even know if they're fucking playing no more. I watched the first 2 weeks. Ugh. Is what I said about the USFL. Not the greatest football in the world by any means. We got guys smoking cigs at practice. That right off the bat tells you worse than high school. Okay? I'd rather watch high school football than I would want to watch the USFL. What the hell's going on? Let's figure that shit out right now. If I had a guy and I was a head coach on a team, he came to practice and lit up a cig, I'd say, oh, you don't want to make it to the National Football League. Sounds good. We're going to release you. Sorry about it, but you're not ready, okay? You don't see fucking Patrick Mahomes or Jonathan Taylor go out there and lighting a cig and saying, hell yeah, brother. It was a thing way back in the day, okay? But let's be honest, NFL players today would wipe the fucking floor with those older players, that older generation. Sorry about it, okay? Especially the guys that smoked. But the XFL, I'm pumped for because that was electrifying to watch, right? We had crowds, massive crowds. We had a beer cup snake in multiple games that reached probably a fucking 2 stories high. It was ridiculous. The atmosphere was electric. The gameplay was electric. The replays were electric as well. It was fun. The in-game little interviews were way better than the USFL. Let's be honest. Okay, the talent was way better and all of the above. PJ Walker, okay, he was the star of that league. Jordan Teamu, star of that league. He's in the USFL, balling out, I'm assuming, okay? But the XFL is coming back, and I cannot be any more excited. At My Sports Update on Twitter, Ari Mirov goes on to say the XFL, now owned by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, has reached a multi-year agreement with ABC and ESPN, who will have exclusive broadcast rights for all 2023 through 2027 game day content, tentpole events, and more. Each season's 43 games will be aired and streamed across NBC, ESPN, and FX. So that's big news there coming out of the XFL. They're slowly getting stuff set up for the upcoming season, in which, again, is reported by Ari Mirov at My Sports Update on Twitter. He says the XFL is planning to kick off a return season on Saturday, February 18th, 2023. The Super Bowl's on February 12th, 2023. The XFL immediately starts just 6 days later. So I'm pumped for it. I'm excited. This NFL season is going to be filled with ups and downs, yays and nays, and all the above. Okay, it's going to be a mixed emotions every single Sunday, Monday, and Thursday, and the XFL will come right after Super Bowl 57, I believe. So, hey, we're set. We're ready to rock and roll. The USFL took a little break before they started. The XFL says, oh, you guys are bummed that football's done? Sorry about it, but football actually never stops, okay? Never sleeps. We just continue to go on with our days. So, the XFL returns February 18, 2023. I'm excited to see what type of players are going to be there, what kind of teams are going to be set in place. They're going to have the same teams that they had before, but how good are these teams going to be? How much better is the broadcasting going to be? And how much better is the atmosphere going to be? February 18th, 2023, just 6 days after Super Bowl 57. The XFL return. So with that being said, that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for tuning in, whether that's on Facebook or on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, hit the like and the share. If you're on if you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe. It'd be much, much appreciated. Go enjoy the rest of your day as much as you possibly can. We know it's raining here in old Minnesota after having a couple nice fucking warm days. Okay, walked 5 miles the other day. Felt fantastic. Stay safe out there. Make the right decisions. Don't make the dumb ones, even though you might. Okay? That's when you bounce back. Okay? You get knocked down, you get right back up. Okay? You keep doing that. Keep going. You keep getting over that hurdle. You keep pounding through that wall because life is always better on the other side. Enjoy the day. We'll be back here tomorrow at 6 p.m. Central Time. Like always, and quick, one time, I forgot to do this. Shout out to Logan Baumgart, who is performing for Dizzy right today. That will actually, I think, starts around 7 or something like that. He's been on the show for, quite some time. He was on our show for fantasy football last week and stuff like that, and the draft and the celebration. And also, hey, shout out to Y4, who's also performing for Dizzy Wright tomorrow in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. So, hey, good luck out there, boys. I'm pumped for you. I'm excited for you. Wish I could be there, but, we got to pay the bills. We got to go to work. We got to do all that stuff, but I'm excited for you guys. I'm pumped for you guys and what we're all doing here, us three. So, enjoy the rest of your guys' day. We'll be back here tomorrow at 6 p.m. Central Time, Facebook and YouTube. Have a great rest of your day, and you just got your fix with the Wicks. Deuces, folks.